What is up, Yu-Gi-Oh players? Today I want to talk about my banned and limited list predictions. Apologies for the ads in the top and bottom of the screen if I'm not able to edit them out. I am not sponsored. It's just kind of on the website and I can't get rid of them. So I want to talk about my banned limited list prediction for the current post-Justice Hunter kind of ban list. Things that should be hit and, you know, maybe some unbans. A lot of these are more hypothetical than actuality, so don't take the unbans as anything serious. It's just kind of something I threw in there because I thought it might be a little cool to see them come back, but I doubt that they actually will. So without further ado, I really didn't. Oh, I have two pictures of Arthelion in here. Whoops. Oh, yeah, because one of them was in a foreign language. Ignore the darker one. This one that's a bit more faded. It's in a foreign language. So, without further ado, let's kind of just get straight into this. So, where do we start? Well, so apparently Mitsurugi's getting new product in March of next year because apparently that deck of all things needed a structure deck. Because it's a TCG exclusive and they had to promote it in some way. Sorry if I sound like I'm out of breath. When I do these nerd rant videos, I kind of just try to do as much as I can in one breath, and it never works. So, where do I see Mitsurugi? For putting Habakiri. So, limiting Habakiri just so that way we can weaken their start, even if they're playing pure. I'd say either limit or semi-limit. We'll go semi-limited on Ritual. Just because, once again, kind of weakening the deck. It's already pretty overpowered as it is. And, of course, Murakumo banned. Honestly, Murakumo is just a bullshit card. From my experience, yes, whilst you can negate him, he still has that stupid quick... Both of his effects are quick effects, and so he can either force you to discard another card in order to activate a basic card effect, and on top of that, he can nuke your entire board at any time. And then I think he has to tribute himself to do so, so even better, he can literally just come back from the graveyard, which is even worse. So overall, really just more of an overpowered annoyance in the first place that we could easily live without. So that's my kind of hits. I don't really have anything insightful to say about it. It's really just kind of down to the fact that Mitsurugi hard carries a bunch of decks like K9 and Yummy specifically. So giving those specific hits could easily weaken the deck. Now, on the other chance, we could easily just limit Murakumo, because I have seen certain builds where people are running more than one copy. So then putting him in the limited section, you can still play him, it's just harder to get him out. Just like Havakiri. I think we'll leave him in limited just because that's a bit more agreeable. So next up, I know Droll's on here. I could either go limited or forbidden. I would prefer forbidden just because for more rogue decks, a lot of them are going to be combos so they can keep up. Rogue excluding Blue Eyes because of that one snippy person who replied to my video talking about Droll that I made already. I never once said that there weren't decks that can't play through it. However, a lot of the good, for especially rogue decks or just strong combo decks, which seems to be the only thing Konami wants to make anymore, all get crippled by this one card. And sometimes, if you're playing decks like White Forest or Heroes, it not only cripples you, but it ends your turn because you physically cannot play without searching cards. So it's more of a lingering floodgate with no cost. It's a no-cost lingering floodgate that you can play at 3. So I'd say either put it to 1 or none. But honestly, none would probably be preferred. After all, if we're going to kill other floodgates, might as well kill this one too. That's kind of my opinion on Droll, is it's just kind of not, it's not fair. And it's real, and to the people who call it a necessary evil, it really, really isn't. That's just your way of coping with the fact that if they banned it, you'd basically have no way to bullshit through, to get easy bullshit wins. But other than that, Droll is just, and if we put it to 1, it just weakens its power. Having a stroke, excuse me. Anyway, weakens its power and makes it harder to play, kind of like Dimensional Shifter. So that is also an option. So I'm going to put these two together because, honestly, look, it's a lingering floodgate. It's a bridge into Mitsurugi. It's Yummy's bridge into Mitsurugi. And on top of that, it's an Omni Negate. What more do I have to say? Banning that, if we banned Herald of the Ark Light, we could completely ignore the rest of Yummy, and Mitsurugi would be less of a problem as it would have less ways to mesh into meta decks. And plus, I'll get into my opinions on Draco Tale, but Yummy and K9 are two out of the 3 major decks that really can't stand on their own 2 feet without something like Mitsurugi to carry them. So breaking their bridges to those decks would really help fix a lot of the issues. So, yeah, Herald of the Arc Light is just too much in one package. So banning it could easily cripple some of the more, I guess we can say, out there meta decks. So that's just what I have to say about that. Whether you agree or not on any of this is fine. I'm just throwing my opinions out there. So then, Snatchy to 1. Now, why not semi-limit? Well, because 1, you can use any Link 1 monster. When I played Yummy for the couple of weeks before just not fucking enjoying the deck and going back to White Forest, I decided to try out Yummy, so I kind of built it. It was about $30 for the entire core. Slapped some Snake Eye stuff in there, and I really just couldn't go anywhere with the deck. Because I'd either get fucking ashed, drolled, or just overall fucking dark, or when I had a chance, when I actually made an end board, it would just get fucking dark rulered, so. Which we'll get to Dark Ruler no more in just a little bit. And why I think it should, and my opinions on that. But overall, and then this stupid thing being a quick effect, a not once per turn loopable quick effect synchro on your opponent's turn is also just not really needed. It would just kind of weaken the deck, and like I said, they could play literally any Link 1 and start synchro summoning anyway. So technically I should have put something like Relinquished Anima on here as well. But overall, I think we could easily live with just limiting this guy and calling it fair. Excuse me. So with that, this is probably going to be my most controversial take, and this is where I get into talking about Draco Tale. Yeah, so I'm like I said, I'm going for more limits than I am actually bans, because a lot of this doesn't need to get banned, but it does need to get limited. Arthelion being able to be played at 3 and then immediately just fusion summon Arthelion, then I'm going to go ahead and just return that card to the board. I'm going to return that card on your board to the... Like, I'm returning this card, and this card to your hand or extra deck. And on top of that, I'm going to make sure you can't respond to it, because I'm going to chain block you with all the Draco Tale cards I've just sent to the graveyard. So, on the sheer fact that it's not only hard that you cannot respond to the activation of Arthelion. That you can't respond to the activation of Arthelion because they're going to chain block you. It can also just either bring back their materials or put your entire board back in the extra deck and the hand, which is really just kind of a load of shit, which is just kind of dumb, because why should they be able to immediately return my entire, like, essentially half of my field to my hand with no effort, and I can't even respond to the damn thing in the first place. So, for everyone underplaying Draco Tale, the deck is a lot stronger than you truly think it is, especially against rogue decks. And I have become exclusively a rogue player because meta just is expensive and not worth it in the end for how many hits it's going to take. And because then you're just going to have to buy another meta deck, and White Force seems to control this format really easily, especially against things like Branded. So, yeah. Then Rahu Draco Tale, it's just Branded Fusion, but worse. It is honestly it is basically just a stronger version of Branded Fusion. That's really it. It's just Branded Fusion, so why not treat it like... It's literally a knockoff of Branded Fusion, so let's just treat it like Branded Fusion and limit it to 1. That's my logic, is it's genuinely just Branded Fusion. So we'll just give it the Branded Fusion treatment. So then, K9. Limit their starter, semi-limit Azuna because it's their second strongest starter. Overall, just trying to hit their starters, really. I don't, sure we could ban Ripper, but I don't think we should cripple this deck entirely because it's kind of squishy without anything else to back it up. Honestly, I really think we should hit more of the... I don't really know K9 as much because no one fucking plays it at my locals. So, to be honest... To be 100% honest with you, we could easily just leave this like this. They have a weaker start, and from there, Konami can hit the miscellaneous support that they can spam out. And other than that, I call this fair enough. Just giving them a weaker start, so that way they have to search their Jokul, and Azuna's a little less frequently seen. That's all. That's really it. There's not much to say, because I don't see K9 as much for as powerful and as played as people say it is. I really almost never see the card in the deck in the first place. So, and if I do see it, it's because someone else at my locals is playing it, but I'm not up against them. Either because they're doing worse than me, or I'm just having an off day. Again, I'm not the greatest player in the world, but I usually do somewhat decently. So for K9, we'll just leave it at that, honestly, because I can't really think of any genuine reason to hurt this deck. They've already got rid of their way of locking. They already got rid of the lock play with Artifact Mjolnir, so I'd say the worst of it was taken care of already. That's just me. If you have a different opinion, leave it in the comments below. So, these next ones are probably going to be a bit more controversial, but let's get into it. So, and by the way, when I say unban, I mean leave it at 3. I mean bring it to 3, so... If it's a card that's currently banned, I will put it in the section that I think it should be in, and nothing more. So, but first, let's talk about two other cards. Dark Ruler no more. So, Dark Ruler, yes, is a solid form of interruption. However, if you're playing Triple Tactics Thrust, which a lot of decks are, don't hit Thrust. Thrust is fine. It's just the cards that you can play into that you can play off of thrust that really need to get hit. I'd either say limit or ban Dark Ruler no more. I'd say probably limit Dark Ruler just because, like I said, basically having 3 copies with triple tactics thrust being in the deck, being playable at 3, which is fine. Like I said, it's the cards it plays into, not the card itself. I'd say we could easily limit basically anything people are hitting or setting out through cards like triple tactics thrust, and we'd be fine there. Dark Rulers especially because your opponent can't respond to it unless they have a spell card, meaning that Draco Tale is kind of the only deck currently that really has a solid or easy response to the card. So, yeah, I'd just leave it at that because honestly, there's still ways around it. And also because you cannot take any damage if you're hit with the card for the entire turn, then it's a lot easier that way because your opponent still has to pass back to you and you have a chance of winning from there. Alright, this asshole. Immune to literally anything that isn't Luna Light. Ban it. It's just horseshit. It's even so bad it's immune to super polymerization, meaning you can't clear it off the board. And because it's not an active response, it is by all means immune to super poly. Just ban it. It's annoying. The fact that it can attack multiple times, it's immune to anything but Luna Lights. That's it. That's all I really have to say. It's just... Yeah. So, now we're getting into the unban... put this thing over here. We're getting into the cards I want to unban. Now, some of these, it's mostly because I don't really see the issue with them. Some of them are more just kind of... If we did, it'd be fine. But I'm really... some of them are... A lot of them are maybes. There's two in particular that I will say are hard maybes more than they are we should definitely unban them. This one I don't really see a problem with. We could easily unban Isold. Yes, warrior decks would be a bit more played, but I don't see a lot of... But there aren't really any meta warrior decks currently. Unless K9 is warrior, then maybe not. But I don't really see the problem. Same with Nightmare Mermaid. I don't really see anything because once again, it plays off of the other nightmares, and I haven't seen a single nightmare monster being played in the current format, and I don't really see them being played now. So, and I'd have to see how the new support comes out and how it's played. But I honestly think we could unban the card just because I don't see an issue with it anymore. And plus, you can't... And it's a Link 1, but you can't play it in Yummy because you have to summon it off of a Nightmare monster. So overall, I'd say it's fine. It's fine enough. Alright, now on to the two that I'm sure you already picked up on are my hard maybes, but... Let's start with Baron de Fleur. So, Baron de Fleur, there aren't really a whole lot of synchro decks or decks that play big tuners that can make it. Like, sure, yes, there's Branded, but Branded locks itself into fusions as soon as they activate Branded Fusion, or I think even Albaz locks you. So, you're gonna get locked midway through your combo, like, into your combo anyway. With level 8 fusions, so there's really no point. And like that, I'm only saying that because technically Ecclesia is a tuner. Then Yummy does not have big enough monsters to make this thing, and I do believe they are locked into level 4. they can only summon level 4 synchro monsters for the rest of the turn anyway. The only deck I really see making this is White Forest. So, however, I don't think, no, people probably wouldn't play any more than one. I'm going to say limited just so people don't play a whole lot of copies of Baron de Fleur. I mean, it is by all means a negate. It is a strong negate. But overall, like I said, the White Forest is really the only deck that I see coming back to play Baron de Fleur. Now, this one is controversial and by all means the biggest maybe. Now, I'm a massive fan of Snake Eyes. I got in right as Phantom Nightmare released and right after both Poplar and Ash were limited. But I honestly think that if we limited this card, it'd be a bit harder to get out, and since it does special summon from the deck, and Draco Tale has there are just tons of Omni negates floating, or just overall negates, especially with Draco Tale floating around, and it being a spell card, it's just kind of an easily stoppable card. And after all, Snake Eyes is going to be very predictable, especially after having a year-long format with that deck. So, other than that, I don't really have anything else. Maybe some honorable mentions might be, since Malice is back on the rise, maybe banning Red Ransom, just so they don't have that, and we don't get that stupid tier... As much as everyone wants to call it a tier 1 deck, that was by all means a tier 0 format, with both Malice and Ryziel being tier 0. With Mitsurugi kind of backing up the rear as kind of a tier 1 that fits into a tier 0 deck. But overall, this is really what I'm seeing here. I don't genuinely see anything else for Now, I don't want to go into Genesis points. If we're really talking Genesis points, just all the Radiant Typhoon spells should be at least 4 points. I'd say all the Radiant Typhoon spells should be 2 points, and the monsters should be 30 each. And the bigger and all the high level monsters should be about 30 each, and 50 for the stupid trap. Other than that, I don't really see any issue with that. Honestly, I think they could bring branded back down in points. 40 for a branded fusion in Genesis is a little egregious, but other than that, yeah. So overall, I don't see, this is just my opinion. I get that OSS, like I said, I like Snake Eyes. I understand it's powerful. And I get if no one actually likes the idea of unbanning OSS. I 100% agree that it is definitely still very powerful. Even if it's semi-limited, and even if it's limited, and even if there are a ton of negates, people can still land this card. And because White Forest does exist, being locked under the Witch of the White Forest, having an OSS in your deck would also bring in a lot of power from the Snake Eyes engine, but it would also allow you to play a full version of the Sinful Spoils story deck, which would probably be very, very powerful. So, like I said, OSS is a hard maybe. Kind of like Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur is just kind of another negate that is made off of a synchro monster. But at the same time, there's also a lot of negates that could easily just stop the card in the first place. And plus there's cards like Blackout Laughs. And, the other hits are just kind of there to kind of shake up the decks, but not really kill them. Yummy can still synchro summon. Draco Tale can still fusion summon off of other cards. Worst comes to worst, they have to play Polymerization in their deck. But overall, this is what I'm working with. If you don't 100% disagree, then that's fine. Just please be nice about it in the comment section. and have a good day.